think a lot of these problems are the result of decades of generations of disinvestment in certain neighborhoods in our city, disinvestment in certain communities. Like, we all have seen a lot of these things, and generally a lack of investment in city and state government, making it more accessible to people, making it easier to understand how to fix when you've got a problem. So much of things recently also have jumped online, which I think is good in some ways, but we've got a lot of people who come into our office who do not use the computer, or they'll send an email to their daughter and that's it. They're not going to put any personal information in. They don't feel comfortable, right? And so I think a lot of it is just, is obviously, precedes my arrival in this office, the senators, and also respectfully yours, right?
Yes.
It's like long running decades of problems, and just really look forward to working with you to help people as much as possible.
State Senator Nikil, your final words on, how we got here to come from Stone Age to modern, we can fly all over space and we can do all these things, technology, but we aren't teaching people how to make wills so they can protect their generational wealth.
I mean, I have to say, I think it is a systematic just disinvestment in working class communities, overwhelmingly Black and Brown communities in our city. I mean, we are the poorest major city. That poverty is disproportionately borne by people of color in the city, and I think that and you see that in the housing patterns, like that the federal government prevented people from access to, one of the biggest gaps in wealth is due to housing. I mean, it's just due, and that's due to law, that's due to the history of housing. And then insofar as people were brought into the housing market, as recent studies have shown, they were brought into kind of predatory schemes and the like. And so all of that then plays out in the lack of resources available to people to navigate existing programs. The fact that we've had these longstanding barriers to intergenerational wealth. There's intergenerational trauma that it results in that. There's the fact that for many people in Representative Fiedler in my district, but across the city, English is not their preferred language. They need resources. We need non-traditional hours for help for people who our neighborhood institutions need more support. Churches, civic associations, centers, schools. I think that all of that is how we start to rebuilding our civic fabric, but rebuilding access, to the understanding that we need estate planning to protect our our livelihoods, our intergenerational wealth, and our communities. And I just again want to acknowledge your work in showing up at community events, messaging this, alerting people to what tangled titles are. Events like this, demystifying it and just treating it with the urgency that it deserves. And so I think we're both, Brett Fiedler and I, we represent our districts, but we also represent the city.
Exactly.
State level, right? And so we're legislating on behalf of all of us. And